coming across okay because I'm using my Bluetooth earphone, which is I actually have a really nice snowball mic that I use on the PC that I'm not able to
Yeah,
use here.
isn't that hilarious? That once again we go back to like the PlayStation microphone here. That it's like you have this really nice microphone, but because of like the way that the console like hardware software works, you're using like God knows what, like some kind of like Bluetooth earpiece or something.
Yes, that's exactly what
A
I'm having to
small
use.
microphone on the PlayStation 5 controller.
Right. Yeah, we need to find a game to play on PC as well. Um,
Hold on, you may have
um,
to reset. Let me.
okay.
I think I'll be able to get. Yeah, there we go.
Cool.
You know what? Let me start streaming too. Well, you broadcast this on Twitch as well? That's literally one more button now that I have this set up. It's actually really nice.
Nice.
Let me update the
Okay,
name.
with whatever.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Change this to Rocket League.
Also, did you want to play like 3v3, 1v1? Like, what did you want to
Let's start with a
play?
1v1 and then do a 3v3. I feel like that's the flow that feels most natural for Rocket League to me.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Okay. I'll let you know if we get a viewer. I actually usually it's zero, but I've had several streams now where I've had one or in one case as many as two viewers. It was pretty wild.
Man.
Yeah, really doing it big.
All right. Trying to make sure we're not going to get any wacky here. I held on because see,
Sorry, I broke up there. What'd you say?
said I held off a little bit there because I noticed you were moving initially.
Yeah, no, I
Like,
decided to turn the audio back off. I had turned it up for some reason. I can't remember why.
mm,
Oh, I remember one of the things I was going to talk to you about. So, okay, is that the DeLorean that you have there?
it is
Okay, and you have the other Batmobile, right? Or one of the Batmobiles?
nice. Um, yeah, I have um the Batman, like the first Batman
Yeah. Did you see they have another
Batmobile,
one
the
now?
'80s. Yeah, yeah, from the Batman.
Yeah,
Um,
which I guess is the new movie. It's just it's
yeah,
objectively not as good. It's nowhere near as good. Like no one could think it's as good. Like I don't know. It's crazy to me that like I think, and this is what I wanted to talk about. Like, I think we just we saw the best Batman, maybe in our lifetimes. You know what I mean? Maybe I mean like I know what it is in my mind. What is it for you? And maybe we differ on this, but
well, I mean, each one has its own feel, and it kind of
yes,
matches the
yes,
time. Um,
and maybe that's it too.
like,
Maybe I'm just it's the nostalgia has blinded me,
yeah,
but I don't think
yeah, it's
that's
just
the
the
case.
Batman of the times. I think um, it's we kind of went through that like weird, quirky, sort of fun '90s Batman period of the Tim Burton
Mm-hmm.
goofy, campy stuff. We had kind of a similar run of campiness, obviously, with like the '60s Batman TV show. Um, like up until like that gritty Nolan uh, iteration of Batman, the only thing that took Batman seriously was the animated series and the comic books.
And the
So
well, I wouldn't say seriously, I guess. I was going to say the Tim Burton ones because that was like a dark take, but you're right. That wasn't like a serious take.
they were serious for a younger person. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at it through the lens of like of the age that we were, it was more serious. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you go back and you watch those movies,
Yeah, the
I
penguin.
mean, they're just I mean, they're just not. Yeah, they're not serious or gritty, not really. They're
Yeah.
they're pretty campy. But I like them for what they were. So
Sure,
I guess
sure.
what I'm saying is I'm trying to look at this Batman is through the lens of the time. Can it be good? I don't know. I mean, it's reviewing fairly well,
Yeah, I should give it a chance at
considering.
least. And it's like some of that stuff will just be style, like nostalgia stuff. Like the car is actually a
Yeah,
really good example of that, where I'm like, you know, I, I'm getting mad about that, but it's really just because that's not what the Batmobile looked like when I was a kid. I'm like, this is outrageous. But I do
right. And I mean, they all had their own little style. I mean, we probably like the Tumbler was cool, but the Tumbler didn't really resemble a Batman car at all either. I mean, and I really liked the Tumbler. I think it was a really cool
yes.
uh, Batmobile.
To
Um,
to
Kind
me,
of hated the camo one though. The camo one was hideous.
oh my
What a
god,
hideous
yes.
car. That being said, I own it anyway. um, the other one I hated was the '60s one. But for some people that is Batman. I mean, for my dad, the
Yeah.
'60s Batmobile,
Yes.
that's Batman.
Yep.
That is Batman to him, and
Yes.
he'd
And
argue with you
everything
all day
else is a
long.
legit imitation, is what it feels like to them. And
Right
that's the
to
real
that
thing.
Batmobile.
Yeah.
Right. Um, and that just kills me because I hate that version of Batman.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
so
it's the
much.
worst. It's just like Star Trek. It's the same kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Where
It
it's
is.
so campy that it's hard to even look straight at it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
Nice shot.
I thought I didn't even pursue it at first because I thought it
Yeah.
was just in. Um, no, you know what was a cool version of the Batmobile? An interesting one was I guess it was the '40s
'40s.
iteration
I don't
of
even
the
know
Batmobile,
what
and
that
that was
looks like.
based off of a comic book. I have the car here,
Huh.
um, in Hot Wheels form, but it was pretty cool looking. I'll give some credit for that one, but uh, ooh, uh, I actually do have the '60s one as well, but it's like a begrudging. Like I own it because I'm like, this is part of like Batman history. It has its place. Funnily enough, the Batmobile that has sort of taken, uh, its place in sort of taken the place for me even of the more popular Batmobiles, um, like the Tumblr and all that, is the animated series. After I watched the
Oh
animated
man.
series, I had such a huge connection with the characters and the writing and all that that like,
See, to me, this is the real contest. Is between, and I haven't watched the animated series since I was a kid,
yeah,
but I feel like it's between um, Nolan's trilogy and the
uh,
animated series. And I feel like I
yeah,
have to give it up to Nolan. Those movies are so good. But I
yeah,
haven't watched the animated series like since then, and I've never watched the whole thing either. There must be many
right.
episodes that I missed, so maybe I would watch it and I would change my mind. What would you give it up to if you had to like and it's hard because they're obviously one's movies and one's TV, but do you have a preference?
Well,
Do you have one? Do you feel like is better than the other?
you know, so I've kind of beaten this drum before, as far as um, Gotham City is the primary character that I love in the
Mm.
Batman universe.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, One thing that brought Gotham to me in a big way, and this is why, like, like a lot of people would just scoff at me and say, shit or whatever. I love Tim Burton's Gotham City. I fucking love it. I love Tim Burton's Gotham City.
Interesting.
And I love Tim Burton's Gotham City more than I love those movies. Uh,
Yeah.
like,
I
if
know
I
what you
could
mean when
just
you say
take
that, though.
Tim Burton's Gotham City and I could put Nolan's writing in that city
Yeah.
somehow. And I don't even know that it would work, by the way. It probably would be a terrible movie because Nolan's like more of like grounded in reality. Like, this is like,
Yeah.
New York, Chicago style, very real, kind of more realistic. Like, I could walk into the city in it and I like land a plane.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean when you say that. Those culture books that I always go on about, like the books
Uh,
aren't even really that good. I like them. Like they're enjoyable books. They're good sci-fi books, But like
yeah,
what I like a lot more is the universe that he constructed, and that like that's sort of like
yeah,
the only way that you can like take a look at that universe is by reading those books. There's like certain things that are like that. Star Trek is like that too in a lot of ways for me, honestly. Where like some of the like shows I really like, and some of the episodes in particular I really like. Like there are a couple Star Trek episodes that are just like, I mean, they're just great. They're just great as episodes of television. They're great as like any medium, But man, there's some stinkers too. Like I mean, that's like that with any
yeah,
sci-fi. But like it's the same kind of thing where it's like more than like the individual episodes, what I like about Star Trek is like sort of like getting a peek into that universe, like Gene Roddenberry's like idea, or like Ian Banks's idea of like what is this utopia like, or like you're talking about like the other fictional places, like what is Gotham City like. I never really it's been so long since I watched the Tim Burton Gotham movies. Like now you've got or Gotham movies. That's funny. Batman movies. Now you've got me kind of wanting to
yeah,
rewatch them and
yeah,
see what I kind of missed out on there. I've never even thought about it from that angle. Those
yeah.
movies in particular.
Super campy. But like I said, that's what gave me kind of my starting love for Gotham.
Yeah.
And that sort of set the playbook for me even liking Batman.
Mm.
So I have such an appreciation for those movies, despite the fact that I can't take them seriously now,
Yeah.
just because they gave me my initial love for Gotham City and Batman. I mean, more than anything, I just loved that gritty neon. Hell, that's probably where some of my love came for like the cyberpunky type shit too. Truthfully,
That's funny.
because
Yeah.
Tim Burton's Gotham City was neon soaked. You know what I mean? I mean, it had it all, right? Like it just had that, and somehow they pulled it off and still remained somewhat family friendly, even. And I don't even really know how they did it because it had that feel about it. But anyway, so yeah, so it's like I kind of want to like to get back to your actually original question. It
What you're
is a really
saying
hard question to
is
answer.
Chris
There's
Nolan can go
there's
fuck
a
himself. It's Tim Burton's Batman that everybody's sleeping on. That's what I got out of
right.
this.
No, I definitely prefer Nolan's writing. I prefer definitely prefer, uh it's hard. I actually really like Nicholson's Joker. I do. Um but I would argue, I'd have a pretty strong argument that my favorite Joker is um um God, I just totally blanked out horribly. Mark Hamill's um Joker
Really?
is my favorite Joker.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Of course. No, I see why you're saying that. Yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
get, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's
And
funny too. Yeah,
it's
because a lot of
because
people have just never experienced that Joker, but he's played the
yeah,
Joker more than anybody else. He's played the
he has.
Joker more than any Batman has played Batman. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Well, there's more character development there.
yeah,
There's literally more character development for that Batman
yeah.
than, Heath Ledger's Joker. So it's almost not fair
It's hard.
for
It's
me to
hard
compare
because
the two.
Heath Ledger is the one that you obviously go to, and you don't want to diminish that performance, but you don't want to diminish Mark Hamill's performance either over decades, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's one movie. It's one movie.
Yeah.
The Batman, the Nolan trilogy. There's 3 movies there. But when we're talking strictly about the Joker, it's like this is just one movie. I mean, he gave it all he had, and
It's
it was a
true.
wonderful performance.
And
It was very good.
yeah.
But it's hard for me to say, well, this is the definitive Joker. This is one fucking movie. So the definitive Joker could be a Joker from a graphic novel for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just talking about voice actors here, but
yeah, I don't feel like. Yeah, definitive is interesting. I feel like definitive is almost a different question. I almost feel like definitive. I almost want to go to the comics. You know what I mean? It's funny too. You were the one that enlightened me on this. That like that's not so easy. The comics or whatever else. You want to say like no. I want the real Batman. Well, it's like
there is no real Batman.
The real one. Yeah. I'm Spartacus.
Yeah. You want the real Batman, then you go back to the original run of the comics, Detective Comics, and you get just they're not bad, but they're comics from that time period of oh boy, you got your what's that really cheesy 50s thing that everybody just fucking loves to go back on like like our grandparents or the Andy Griffith Show. It's like the Andy Griffith version of Batman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
And it's where and I hesitate to like really riff on it here really.
There was
because
a guy, there was a guy who's like, and that's the real Batman, but he's dead now. He's gone.
No, those people still exist. I don't think that guy is dead. The purists out there absolutely are like, this is Batman. Like that person.
This is a 17-year-old who's going on about it. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah. Right. He's out there. He's out. There's a purist out there.
There have to be, actually. I didn't think about this. There must be some people who are really into the lore of it and who sort of like, probably not, in real time, but have gone back and followed it. And they're like, oh, yeah.
I tried.
That's yeah, you really did give it your college best. The thing is, before you sort of went on that adventure with Batman, and you did with some other ones too, I didn't really know that. And sort of like knowing that now, it makes sense. But I didn't understand that with like Batman or like comics in general, but especially like any popular comic like that like it's so early on starts diverging into like, oh, like Batman this or like Batman Year One, Batman, Arkham something or another, Batman Detective Comics, which you think like, oh, what spinoff was that? That was the original. That was the first one before we even had. God knows what the first one with Batman in the name was. I'm sure like or somebody knows, but like it's everything is like that. Like I'm sure X-Men is like that to an insane degree, going off in all kinds of like different directions. But like even aside from the like managing like the physical aspect of like getting those comic books and like storing them and stuff, just like the archaeology of trying to figure out like what am I even supposed to read if like I'm interested in any kind of continuity is like could basically be a full-time job.
Yeah.
Which maybe it is. Maybe that's what the guys at the comic book store are doing. They're just like the spoken word historians from like the
there's
the Greek heritage. Instead of the like the Iliad and the Odyssey, they're just like, let me tell you of the Batman and the Superman of the times of Marvel and of DC.
Well, there's runs. That's like they call like the new, what do they call it? The new 52 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's like the thing is like this is like a reboot of comic run. And to me, I couldn't
start losing the thread like that so quickly though.
Well, it just kind of waters down the source material to where it's just hard to. It's weird. It's sort of the same, like almost it has the same vibe as like oh, we're rebooting the Jurassic Park franchise.
Yeah.
You have at a certain point, you're like, should you though,
Should you
or
just
could we
make a
just
new
start with
movie?
something new?
Yeah.
Yeah, just make a new comic book hero instead. Like,
Did you
why are we rebooting like the New 52 for Batman? Um,
did you see the new
I
Matrix movie?
not yet.
It
I've
it
only
was
heard bad things
it
about
was
it.
so horrifically bad, but I kind of want you to watch it just so we could talk about it, particularly because
Yeah,
there were even things in it that, like, these being in there did not save it from being a bad movie, but there were even
yeah.
things in there that I can only describe as feeling like a call for help, where they're literally like, oh no, Mr. Anderson, you're a video game designer now, and you're being forced to make this terrible remake of this movie that used to be great. And do you know what this thing that you're being forced to do? It's in the contract. They're gonna make it without you if you don't do it, Mr. Anderson. The game is called The Matrix. It's like, like, I get what you're doing, but it still doesn't make the movie good. Like, it's just like,
Um,
is so shockingly bad that, like, I wish I knew what the story was there, like,
yeah.
of, like, I guess I kind of do, like, even without knowing it, you kind of
Money.
exactly, like, do I need to know the story, or do we already kind of know it?
Right. Just like, here's this briefcase of money. Go put some lipstick on this horror called Matrix.
Yeah, it really does
Like,
break my
oh,
heart though.
yeah.
That first one, man, I loved that movie, like, so much, and they really, like, each one is 10 times worse than the last one before it. And, like, the first one is just so good that the second one, you're like, that's still pretty good, actually. Even though it's 10
Uh,
times worse, it's actually still pretty good. And then the third
right.
one, you're
That's
like, well, I mean, I wouldn't watch it again, but it's,
just,
it's an action movie. It's all right. And then this
right.
last one, though, man, it was too far. 10 times again was, ooh, God help us when they make the next one.
Yeah. Oh man, the Jurassic Park movies, by the way, on that topic, it
Oh,
was
they're like that too.
just
They follow that same power law.
absolutely breaks my heart, man. They're so bad. They're
Yeah.
so bad. I even tried. I tried to even like I even did the whole thing that a lot of people did where they're just like, I like it for um I like it for an action movie with
Yeah.
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But like honestly, like I'm away for like I'm not even like even really in that camp anymore. It just hurts too much. Because like I think about like the original writing
Mm-hmm.
and
It's that first. It's
they
it's
didn't
honestly
want
the
it to
same problem
be
as the Matrix. That first one is just so shockingly good that you can't help but compare
well,
it.
it's based off of a book, of
Yeah,
course,
that is
Michael
a good
Crichton
point.
for one thing. And the whole his whole idea was that these are animals first. These aren't monsters. These are animals. These are creatures that live. They're real. They are not, the aliens. They're not the predator. They're not every other movie that you'd seen up to that point. These are
Hmm.
animals that were brought back to life. And so there was an appreciation for the fact
Yeah,
that they were,
they're
you
not the
know,
dinosaurs that are in every other Jurassic Park movie that they've made since.
no, they're not. And it's really offensive that they went that direction, and especially whenever you got to this like four, and they got to the we're editing the dinosaur, and now it's got like invisibility powers, and it's got like fully I don't know what the fuck did they give like opposable thumbs or some bullshit.
Yeah,
It's like they are actual monsters now. I mean, these things are
yes.
not even closely resembling dinosaurs anymore. They are monsters.
I re-
So it's like they
I
came full circle, and they did exactly what they didn't want them to do,
yeah.
what Michael Crichton didn't want to do.
I remember years ago. This has been, God, man. I don't even remember how long ago this has been. Like, maybe like 10 or 15 years ago. I remember reading this thread on, like, Reddit, or, like, it might have been like Dig or something, where someone was claiming that they had read a leaked script of Jurassic Park 4 at that time, And
I remember this. I
it
know
was,
what you're talking
yeah,
about.
they're like,
There was like fucking lizard people, weren't
yes,
there?
they're like the dinosaurs. They evolved. Now they can like they can use guns and they talk and they go on special missions. I'm like, this is so fucking dumb. Like, who would believe
See,
this? You know, like who would believe that this was like a real like script that they wanted to take out like Jurassic Park there? But like you've seen the way that they've gone with the movies in the last like couple of years. It's like, oh yeah, like that's probably the script that they started with and they get a little closer to each time.
I have like a little bit of a conspiracy theory going there, where I feel like they released all that information to make everybody go, like, first of all, to get people talking about Jurassic Park again to garner interest. Okay, so like everybody's just like, that is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life, and they're just like, of course it is because we designed it to be.
Ah,
And
yeah, and then
then like
they're running the news
everyone's
articles.
started talking about it, but then the other thing is then they could have given us, dog shit warmed up in the microwave, and everyone would have been like, well, at least there weren't lizard people. And that's basically what happened. It was like this fucking atrocious writing, and everyone's just like, it wasn't that bad. It could have been worse. Do you remember when they were talking about lizard people? They didn't have any lizard people. Like, they couldn't have gone wrong at that point. So, like, yeah, I don't know.
I can see it. Let's do a 3v3 after this one. Oh shit. What if there's like a maneuver you can do in that situation? I always feel like I can't catch it in time.
If you don't do it right, there's definitely a fail there. Like, I feel it every time too. Whenever I try to pull it off and I don't, it's really disappointing because it's like almost a guarantee that the opponent will score. I don't want to say it's a guarantee, but they have a massive advantage. Nice shot. They have a massive advantage whenever you fail that maneuver.
Hmm.
It's risk. It's definitely not without risk. That's for sure. At best, you score on the tip off. At worst, you just completely lose control of the ball. And then somewhere in between, you get the tip off. Like, I feel like I get the tip off more often than not with that maneuver, but I don't always score. Like right there, like technically that was in my favor. Like, it may not have been, I may not have gained a lot of ground, but it was still a positive move on the board. So it still was like a worthy, if I could have held control of it,
Yeah.
it was a worthy move to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I really like about it is, see, that's where when it backfires right there. That is, I hate that when that happens. That
Oh, I hate
right
this.
there. That is a complete. Now, again, that doesn't mean that I can't regain control of it like this, but that's just pure luck. That was me just like recovering because you didn't grab it quick enough. But like, it's whenever it hits just the wrong way and it splits off. Now, see, there we go. That one's a beautiful one. That one's the one we want. That's the one we like,
Oh,
right
Jesus.
there.
Nice shot.
Yeah. Um. Ah, see how it. That's the perfect. That's the perfect maneuver in full view. And sometimes you can hit it and it sails it. It doesn't even go slow because some people are fast enough. They know they'll counter it. See,
Mm-hmm.
there, like that pinch there. I don't like that either. I know that I failed if I do that. It's so yeah.
Wow, I don't even fully understand what happened there. We gotta watch the replay.
That was slick. Let's watch this because that was actually really slick. I did
This,
see what happened.
this is mostly accidental, but good lord.
Yeah, I mean, I just by a hair missed clipping that, but that was a good shot though. Yeah. Oh man, that was too much. Way too much. Oh man. Oops. Get a bit of that warning. Get anything?
What's that?
So I was getting a connectivity warning.
Oh, no, not me.
Hmm.
Oh, nice shot.
Thanks. This TV is making me so sad. It's just so sad to look at. On the plus side, I don't notice the the purple defect as much anymore.
Oh, hell yeah. Fixed it.
Fixed my problem.
That's like one of those, like, what? It hurts over here? Like,
Right.
won't notice it if I
Your
punch
elbow
it
hurts.
there.
Well, let me just hit your kneecap then. Right. Oh, nice. Nope.
I have not played it yet, but I think they have added an update to this VR game called Contractors to add custom content, which is basically the best part of Pavlov is that they have that, like all the like Halo maps and like Counter-Strike maps and stuff. And literally, it's only been like I think it's only been like a month or maybe less, maybe only a couple weeks, and they already have like all the stuff that's in Pavlov. Like they already have
Oh
like
my god.
Dust 2. They already have like 20 Call of Duty maps. Like they've got a bunch of shit in there already. It's amazing how quick people are with that shit. Because I think they rip it out of like, I don't even think it's out of the other games. I think a lot of times it's out of stuff that's already been modded. You know, like there's like a Gary's mod version of Dust 2 or something, and they use that. But like, yeah, apparently it's just like full of that kind of stuff now. Like, I keep meaning to like actually go over there and play it. Which might
That's
just
actually what I was going to ask you is if there was like enough crossover there that's how they're getting the assets, because that's kind of wild that there's already that much availability.
I think I've kind of figured out that's how a lot of the stuff in Pavlov is there, or a lot of the stuff in VR chat. Because sometimes you go into VR chat, especially, and it's just like, how the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, and some of it is just people made it, and people are just that creative, you know. But other times it's like that show Stargate I used to watch. They've got just the entire SGC in like the base, like the secret base that from the show. Like they've got that like with a working Stargate, okay, that connects to another planet. Then you like go into a spaceship on that planet, and it's just like really like someone made all this for some like random VR chat map that like no one has ever heard of. But then when I went looking for it for that one, I can't remember what it was, but it was like Gary's mod or it was like, you know, Roblox games like that, or there's a number of games like that basically that I think that's where a lot of that content comes from, but not all of it either. I think some people do make it themselves. And then the other thing that you'll sometimes see, now this is crazy. So apparently, like they've got these, I don't know how it works exactly, but like basically they're like programs that like scan or rip like the models in the games that you're currently playing. So people will load up like emulators for like old N64 games and stuff. This is how they get like the GoldenEye maps into Pavlov. But I don't think people are making those by hand. At least some of them that I've played are so good that they seem like, although that is actually another one that there's like a source mod that's like GoldenEye VR. But anyway, I've played some that are definitely off of emulators where you just can tell by the way that the like textures and stuff look. But I think that's another way that people do it. But yeah, it really is crazy how. Oh no, nice. That was so quick. It really is crazy though, like how quickly stuff like that gets into those games. And awesome. It is just amazing experiencing like a game from your childhood in virtual reality.
Well, yeah, that's kind of like what we were talking about with like Morrowind. Like I really would love to play Morrowind in VR.
I really think you're going to be able to eventually. And when you think about it, I bet by the time that it actually works, it's just going to be the best way you could play it. Because when you think
There's
about
been
it, playing Morrowind on the PC right now is not that pleasant of an experience. You know?
Yeah. Fudge.
It's just an older
Oh.
game. You can like mod it and stuff, but like
Yeah.
in VR though, that's like exactly the level of detail that you want in VR. Like probably even a little less. Like some mods for like nice clear, longer viewing distance and stuff like that. You know. But I think there's even a hacky way to do it now. But eventually that'll just be well supported, I think.
Yeah.
Did I see?
It's funny because
oh, go ahead.
The like, oh Jesus, the oh, that was a clean shot. Yeah, no, the Grand Theft Auto remake that just came out that was atrocious and everybody hated, and they just did a really poor job on it. I don't even really want to touch it honestly because they didn't restore any of the original soundtrack and
oh no, wait, which game is this?
GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. They remade them.
Oh, is this the one they did on Quest 2?
No, that is San Andreas, which is actually what I was getting to.
Oh, okay.
It looks like hot garbage. Which is funny, by the way, because is that not a mod that existed for Grand Theft Auto?
Hot coffee. That's what you're
hot coffee. That's right. Hot coffee.
Yeah,
yes.
I remember that.
Yes. Anyway, it looked terrible. The models looked bad. Everybody pretty much hated it, and it's on sale. You know, it's on sale on PlayStation now. But the problem is they replaced. It's not bad enough that they remade the game and made it look bad, and they called it a remake or remaster. But they removed the actual original games from the store, so you can't even buy. Yeah, well, everybody threw a fit about it because it's like this looks worse than the original games, and now you remove the original games, and I already own this game. Like, I paid for this game, I should be able to get access to the originals. So I think they restored those original games files.
Maybe. Now. I bet they didn't restore the soundtracks though. Like, we both
they
know
did not.
Like how that goes. Like,
don't block it
with Rockstar games.
Yeah, no, the soundtrack definitely did not get restored, which is a shame.
It just
so many good songs.
It just goes to show you the only true form of ownership is piracy.
Accurate. They get the better product. better product, better distribution. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say it was all to get around to, even despite the how bad those remakes were, I'd still play the shitty version if it meant that I got to play it in VR. Like, if I could play Vice City like in VR, San Andreas in VR.
Dude, I don't think we're that far.
I'll play a crappier version.
I don't think we're that far from GTA 5 in VR. There's like a shitty version you can play now, and it's like slowly getting better.
Man, I mean, any of those type of games. Red Dead.
Mm-hmm. And the thing you have to remember is Rockstar made, I mean, I think they outsourced it to another studio, but Rockstar put L.A. Noire in virtual reality. Yeah. So it's like clearly on their radar, like this next like Rockstar game, like if it comes out like in our lifetime, like that may have like VR support day one.
I really should play L.A. Noire in VR. The only thing about L.A. Noire is they didn't actually put L.A. Noire in VR. They put a version of L.A. Noire in VR.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the only thing that put me off about it is you have these other games like Resident Evil 7, and you have No Man's Sky, and you have, oh my god, I actually got one. How about that? Anyway,
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, we get it off the tip off. Bring it back in
right,
overtime.
right. Um, we have these full AAA type games that are fully VR, and then they come back to an older game that frankly should have been easy to convert the whole damn thing, and they give us, a kind of a small, section. But I really should give it a go because just to get a feel for a Rockstar game in VR, if nothing else. How does this feel in
I
VR? Does it feel natural?
I watched a review for it the other day, and it actually looked more fun than I was expecting. I think I'm gonna get it just as like a demo game to have around, because it was like there was more going on than I kind of expected there to be around like VR mechanics. I know what you're saying where they didn't put it. You can see that there's stuff that they left out too.
Case files.
That's funny.
That's what it's called. Case files. So it's not really.
Yeah, no, it's not. I don't
Yeah.
think it's the whole game. Yeah, but it seems like they did an okay job with it, where it's at least playable. I don't know.
It's actually on sale right now. I
Oh,
may
is it?
even pick that up
Oh,
just for
I'll
the hell
probably
of
get
it. It's
that
on
then.
sale for $14.
Is that on the PlayStation Store or on PC?
PlayStation Store.
I'm sure that's just on the PlayStation Store. I'm gonna look. That'd be awesome if it's on sale on the PC too.
We should, if it is on sale for you, we should both pick it up and then come back to the meeting board and have a discussion about our experience in LA Noire and its impacts on the potential of a Red Dead or a
That's a great.
GTA.
Yes, that's a great idea.
Because I wouldn't mind. Yeah, um, not on sale on.
Well, that's okay.
Eh,
I was kind of planning on picking it up anyway.
yeah, on Steam anyway. Yeah, no, it's.
It's got those VR game prices. It's $20.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That one, it's so funny because I really do feel like VR games are priced like pretty reasonably. I'm probably like missing the game right now. Whoops. I really do feel like VR games are priced pretty reasonably.
Yeah.
Like for what you get, because a lot of them, like Pavlov, I have it's just insane hours in. But even just like Beat Saber, I have like like I don't know, I haven't looked, but like probably like 30 or 40 hours or something. Like as much as you get from any game, and they're always cheaper. But there was that one game, Carrier Command 2, that I bought, and it was overpriced for a VR game. It was just priced like a normal game. It's like I don't even think it's $60. I think it's maybe $50, but it's like $50 or $60. And it's like it's early access, but it's really fun. I really had like a lot of fun with it. I haven't played it that much. Sorry, I stole that from you. I'll probably go back and play it more at some point. I think there was actually just an update. But anyway, if you go look at the reviews, they're just all these like fairly negative reviews of people being like, yeah, sure, it's a fun game, but like this is $60. You see, they've got like 30 hours in it. It's like, oh man, you guys are fucking ruthless.
Right.
It's like thumbs down.
Well, I have played some more expensive VR titles, and they're usually, there's usually a reason for it. It's closer in line with what you'd expect from a AAA game. Has more on offer. It's a longer.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think Half-Life Alyx is $60.
Yeah, they're out there, and it's usually worth it. But I think the thing is about a lot of those VR games is they're fighting two fronts, which is it's a shorter experience, usually, and it's a riskier experience because somebody may buy in and go, wow, this makes me really sick to my stomach, or this just isn't for me, or whatever. There's more of a risk there, whereas there's with everyone's experience is going to be somewhat similar with a standard 2D, well, not 2D, but non-VR experience. I mean, then it's just like if I know I like Far Cry, I know I'm gonna like Far Cry 3 if it's got good reviews. Far Cry is a Far Cry is a Far Cry. You know what I'm saying? But if you suddenly said Far Cry 3 VR is available tomorrow. Um, I don't know that I'm going to like that. I mean, I'm going to try it,
Yeah.
but am I willing to pay $60 for it? No, because it's a risk. I'm taking the risk that it's not going to be a similar experience that what I have come to like with the typical Far Cry series or whatever. Really shitty example, but I mean, kind of feel like that's um, ooh, sorry, getting kind of distracted by the
No, you're good. I love it. I
game.
love how cheap the games are. Like I wasn't even
Yeah,
mad
no.
about picking up Carrier Command because I'm just like, well, at least
Oh,
they're not all like this. Oh
jeez, I was
no.
so
Oh,
close.
there we
Oh,
go.
hell yeah. Thank you,
That's
God.
okay. Own goal.
I'm so glad he recovered
Oh
that. I was so
no.
bummed I didn't
I
make
saw
that.
that right at the edge there.
Yeah, I
Oh, it
was
was
so
right
close
at
to
you.
getting that.
Nice.
No, I think VR games will go up in price though, because as the risk reward goes, like you're gonna like the people who figure out that they have sea legs, they're starting to like. I have very little concern over buying most games nowadays. I
Mm-hmm.
do get burned every now and then. There's a game. I don't get sick with any game ever. Period. I just don't experience that, except for a game called Hotel. No, not Hotel R&R. Um, Bar Brawl. What is it?
Bar brawl.
Drunken Bar Fights
Interesting.
VR.
Now you know I want to play this now. I want to see if my stomach can survive this.
Well, it's very immersive in the sense that it makes you feel like you are drunk in a bar and have had too much to drink.
Oh no,
It's
that
fucking
sounds horrible. Never mind. I don't want to try this anymore.
it
You went drunken bar
fucking
brawl.
horrible, fucking horrible. I mean, the whole game is like you like smashing things over AI's head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a multiplayer component or not, but you can you're basically picking up pool sticks and just beating people up and punching them and everything else. The whole idea sounded hilarious, and I mean it looks funny. And I'd seen some streamers playing it, and everybody was cracking up while they were playing it. Truthfully, it might even be better on. It probably is better on PC,
Mm.
because the issues that I was having was like frame rate issues
Yeah.
and just uh mostly technical issues that were making me very dizzy. Like just like delay when I'm turning my head, like it wasn't 1-to-1 with where I was turning my head, or um, just the comfort settings,
Yeah,
which I
that'll
always turn
definitely
off.
get you. That does get me too. Like if it stops working and you turn your head and the headset doesn't work, it's just like insta
Yes.
barf.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that was happening quite a bit in it.
Ugh, bad times.
So right.
I will say
Oh
with
boy.
those kinds of effects, there was this, and I don't think I saved it unfortunately, but there was this one map that I played in Pavlov, um, that was you've played like gun game in like either CS or like Call of Duty stuff like that, right? Where it's
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
yeah, where you start off with like one of the big guns and you slowly work your way down to
Yeah.
smaller guns and then you get the knife and whoever gets the knife kill wins. So the way that this map worked is when you put it on the gun game mode in Pavlov, the map was like, I think the map was like on the surface of like an asteroid, and then like the background was space, and then as you got further along in the gun game and someone got close to the knife, there was like this weird surrealist effect where like everything started like melting, like your gun was melting in your hands, like you were kind of like it was like a real like a psychedelic kind of like theme that they were
Yeah,
going for, but like
that's interesting.
stuff like that. It was just, and it's kind of like what you're talking about with the bar fight thing, where that too was like it was a little obnoxious, but it was more just interesting. But it was like, oh, okay, like this is like kind of a cool effect that I haven't really seen used much that way. Like that's that I would love to see that. Like more like mainstream VR games like actually taking advantage of an effect like that. Like not even necessarily for the whole game, but just That should be a thing
Yeah.
that should, they should be able to go there, and maybe they do because I haven't played the whole game, but they should be able to go there in Resident Evil in VR. You know what I mean? They should be able to make the room melt.
Yeah.
In a way that you can in VR that it isn't really the same flat screen.
There's this horror game. Uh-oh, this might be it right here. This is it right here. There's this horror game that actually, I think, kind of pulls some of that off, but I don't remember what it's called. It's on PlayStation. I think it's on both PC and
Interesting. I'll have to check that out.
PlayStation. And the whole thing is like a horror game with psychedelic issues, like blood pouring out of the walls, distortions on your hands.
Oh man,
just things.
That makes me want to see if that's on PC.
Yeah, things fucking with your head. The one thing that happened in Resident Evil that was it was a small thing, but boy, did it have it was in Resident Evil, and it was also in it's an on-rails shooter that was an exclusive for PlayStation. You're on like a roller coaster. Oh, what's it called?
House of the Dead.
It's gonna bug me. No, but it reminds me of House of the Dead quite a bit, but just VR and on rails. Anyway, basically, shooter. Yeah, they've made a lot of use of the. I'm googling it right now. Something blood, I think. Thought it was. They made a lot of use of the 3D audio as well. There's a lot.
Oh yeah, see that's huge.
Right, like there's a lot to be said. Oh yeah, Until Dawn, Rush of Blood. That's what it's
Until
called.
Dawn, Rush of Blood. Let me save that to look up later.
Because one of the things that they would do in that game to screw with you is they'd whisper in your ear. So like you'd hear somebody whisper in your right ear, and you turn to look, and then they'd whisper in your left ear.
Yeah.
And then you would like, and it was so directionally accurate that like eventually you'd find, the whisperer and shit your pants, because it was like that was the whole point. But
there's so many places you can go with that, and you can't do that in a flat screen game because you're not guaranteed that they're wearing headphones. In VR, you pretty much know they're wearing headphones. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff like that.
Right. Well, and it means more because the impact is different. Because with headphones on, even on a screen, you are turning your toggle stick around to see what's behind you or whatever, instead of like physically turning your head around. And there's just something going on there. You're using your neck muscles and stuff. There's probably just more. There's more physicality to the reaction. I don't know. It's totally different. The same thing with Resident Evil 7. There was just more dread.
Yeah.
There were times in Resident Evil 7, the stupid, it's like when a child's terrified and they get under the covers and they're like, I'm not going to look because, if I don't see it, it's not real. It's like, dude, in VR, like, it's so impractical to just not look. Like in Resident Evil 7, that game is crazy, so terrifying. Huh?
I said that's why like VR and horror are such a good like pair that way. Like normally I'm not even that into horror. Like I don't watch that many horror movies. I don't normally play that many horror games, but like it's just so clearly a good fit as a medium because like once it's exactly what you're talking about. Like it's the look away from the screen or the get under the covers or whatever. It's like no, there's none of that. It's like once you
can't escape. It's
like the experience has you. Like now you're in the experience.
Like,
that's so clearly perfectly paired with horror that like it just makes me want to like even though that's not my genre usually like I want to play the scariest thing in VR. Like what do you got? Like who's made something truly horrific? Because somebody has like.
Yeah. There's a couple games out there that I've heard are just absolutely just mind fucks,
Yeah.
I mean, even some stuff that's in Dreams, PlayStation Dreams that they've made for VR. I mean, people have made some seriously spooky stuff. You should see some of the latest stuff out of Dreams, man. It's absolutely wild.
I would love to. There's honestly the scariest thing I can think of in VR, PC VR that I know of, and there's just nothing to it. It's probably I just haven't played like the right thing, but it's this VR chat map that it's like an escalator up to a dark place, and you can kind of see like shadowy figures on it. And it's just like this feeling of like, oh, I don't want to go.
Oh hell yeah, that's going in.
Nice. That was a good shot.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, subtle stuff is kind of where it's at. I remember how horrifying the Resident Evil 7 demo was because it was completely different from the rest of the game. You're just like you're in this room, you're bound up to a chair, and this guy is like, I think it's like this guy is like killed in front of you or something like that, and then she's just walking around the chair, and you can hear her walking around you. And I mean, even if you were to let's say you closed your eyes,
that's not even. You're still gonna hear it. It's gonna make
you hear
it worse.
Floorboards creaking as she's walking around you, and there is something to be said about the fact that you close your eyes too, because when you open them, the reality is still there. She's still in the room, walking around.
Where's she gonna be when you open them?
You're right.
Terrifying to think too. The next generation of headsets are gonna have eye tracking. So there's even things like the game will know that you closed your eyes.
Oh yeah, true. Absolutely.
Be able to scare you even more with that. Oh my
God.
I
wonder if that will be implemented in the PSVR 2 because it has foveated rendering.
It's entirely possible. You got that.
So I mean, I could even see that.
Yep. And then haptics too. Like it's
headset haptics and stuff.
Vests and stuff. Like stuff tap you on the shoulder.
Right.
Big monster eating you, and you have the sensation that you're being eaten.
Yeah.
Disturbing. The future's gonna be so cool, man.
Zombies biting you.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. You got the little ankle haptic.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, more haptics.
Now with 20% more bite sensors. Oh yes, this is what I've been waiting for.
Man, PSVR 2 is just gonna be something else. I think
it looks good.
It really is.
It looks good as shit. And
some of the tech there is just wild.
I think Valve is gonna wind up coming out with another headset, another good one. But I don't know when. It might be 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 years. Like the PSVR. What is that? That's the beginning of next year. Like that's getting pretty close here. That is looking good. It's looking good.
Yeah. Oh. Still haven't got an update on my deck.
I haven't either. I'm in the later group than you are. I saw an interview with Gabe Newell where he was pointing that out. Kind of like as far as like when to expect the next like VR headset and like how to think about their hardware. He's kind of like, well, you can sort of like see what we're working on with the Steam Deck, where it's like we're packing all of this processing power into this small device.
Yeah, I think I did see that actually. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that does make sense. Which was actually really encouraging to hear because it makes me hopeful that they'll release a real competitor to the Quest 2. That would be great to see. Some kind of a standalone. Like, I'd love to see another PC VR one as well. But another standalone headset out there that's a real competitor, that would be awesome.
Yeah. With my TV being in the state that it's in right now, this should be my my VR catch-up week because I don't need a screen.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest that when it sounded like it might have been like no TV at all. Like, oh well, just gotta connect the headset.
I mean, I don't want to use this TV for more than I have to. Like, at least with like Rocket League, like I'm not playing Rocket League for the graphics. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not playing it because it's beautiful. You know what I mean? This is just pure competitive. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Oh no! Oh man, that was a massive failure on my part. How embarrassing. Oh well.
Happens to the best of us.
I was there. I was there. Anyway, uh, but like, I don't want to play Elden Rings on this screen. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, it's a new game. It's pretty. I don't want
I
to.
didn't even
I
think
don't want
about
to.
that. I would feel the same way. Yeah. If
Yeah.
trying to think of what to compare that to. You know what that's like? That's like do you remember I feel like you don't really get this as much anymore. Maybe people still do this and it's just I don't. But do you remember like the old days where like you would like the screeners would come out before the movie came out? Like you would be able to see if you torrented it, you would be able to see a movie like 3 weeks before it came out, but it would be in a horrific quality. It would be somebody's handy
Yes.
cam pointed at a movie theater screen and just like sounds
Yeah.
of popcorn, you know?
Right. Some dude standing up in the
There
middle of the
was
screen.
yes, there was a place that I worked where like the there were a couple guys who would always like watch movies that way, and they would what they would do is they would like there was one guy who downloaded most of them, but there were a couple of guys who downloaded them, and they'd bring them in on hard drives, and they'd be like, you know, sort of like at the beginning of the week, like, all right, guys, you know, who wants, you know, whatever, and people were thrilled about it, you know, like I mean, you know how this is, like it's, especially like people of a certain age, you know, like they just don't give a fuck, like they're just like
Right.
it
Right.
could be like 480p like standard definition, like you know, it could be the TV that you have right now, where it's got the giant scratches and the screen completely unwatchable. Like they never notice. They go, you know, there's a funny
Right.
sign on it whenever it comes on. It must be the logo, you know. It's like this,
All right.
but like this is that's what these guys were like about it. But they'd always be like, you know, the guy would bring them in and they'd be like, oh, you know, what do you want? You know, what do you want to watch? Here's the sort of, you know, the movies to choose from. And then it'd be over the next couple of days that would be hilarious to me because people would come back in and they'd be like, oh, I'll tell you, I watched that, you know, whatever last night. And I'll tell you, don't bother watching that one. The camera fell over halfway in the middle. Like,
Wow.
because it was
Yeah.
sideways. I had to finish it that way. It was sideways for half the movie. I just
Jesus.
don't even watch that one. The movie wasn't even that good.
Oh man.
Crack me up.
The last movie that I watched of immense shitty quality was Old Boy, the original Old Boy, not the remake.
I
Uh,
I think I watched that once, but maybe I watched the remake though. I didn't even know there was a remake.
it was a really disturbing movie. Um,
It's the one with
but
the hammer, right? I remember a hammer.
uh,
No, maybe I'm thinking the wrong
I mean, I
movie.
could spoil it for you massively, but
I'm thinking the one that I'm thinking of. There's like a guy that he's on like a revenge mission for something I can't quite remember, and he's got a
yeah,
hammer.
you're pretty much describing it.
Okay, okay, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but then again, I don't know if it's the remake or not. So
It probably was. I don't remember
I'll be up, okay,
going
buddy.
through any.
Um, so I couldn't find it. It was playing on like Netflix or something for the
Mhm.
longest time, and when I went to watch it, it was unavailable. And so ultimately, ended up watching it on some really shady site. Uh, it was just the quick and dirty way of watching it,
Yeah.
basically
Sometimes there's
streaming it to my
literally no
TV.
way. There's not even a way to buy it.
Yeah, yeah. There wasn't. I wanted to. I actually looked to rent it first because you know, to me that was just the easiest,
Yeah.
laziest way. I rent movies all the time now,
Yeah.
which is
I
something
think
I
that's
never
how
did back in
like
the day.
a lot of people are, if not most people at this point.
Yeah,
Like, please let me pay.
you're right.
Companies are like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. I was very annoyed that I had nowhere to insert my currency. Um, so I found a way to stream it anyway. But boy, howdy, was that some bad quality. I stuck with it. But you know what? It kind of, I
Reminded you
really
of the
can't
olden
I
days.
can't right. I can't rag on your the people you were describing earlier too much, because there is sort of this element of I'm going to watch this movie. Like like I'm going to be able to tell people I watched this movie after I see this.
Yes.
Like I will have memories of the storyline after the movie is over, and
Yeah.
that's all that's important.
Yeah.
And the quality was so bad. Dawn and I watched it. She actually watched it with me. Oh man, it was rough. But yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I think I can actually watch it on streaming services now.
It's funny. I'm trying to remember like there were like one or two movies that I downloaded off LimeWire when I was a kid. Like it was mostly music, but like I figured out at one point you could like search for AVIs and like you're like, oh,
Yeah, it's
what's
dangerous.
yeah. I'm trying to remember what it was. I actually it might have been like Fight Club. I don't think it was The Matrix. It was like it might have been Fight Club. It was like something from that era. But it was just like I
Uh,
mean you just felt the first time you did that it was just like oh my Jesus.
yeah.
And then you're that. Oh, that's why I was going to bring that was because I remember me and my friends crowded around the computer screen in the basement watching this in terrible quality. You know, where you're seeing these giant horrific artifacts, like just absurd to watch. You know what I think
I
back to
remember.
sometimes? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I remember the golden ages of first discovering. Um, son of a gun. The so I had my that weird device that your mom ended up buying for me online because like I didn't have any kind of like I gave her cash to buy it for me. Do you remember this? I don't even remember what it was called. It
I
was
might
like
I,
this
I
little
might be able
black.
to come up with a name because it had kind of a. Oh man, I didn't remember that. That's how you got it. It was like a pre. It
Yeah,
was the thing that it like came before the iPod. The thing is, the company might still be around. Is the thing. Oh, that's gonna drive me crazy. I
I
think
think I
it
still
had a
have the damn
U.
thing.
I think it had like a U in it, like a something. Maybe it started with a C, CAMU or
I don't
something
know.
like that. That's not it. But something.
You
I
know,
know what you're talking
it
about.
was a slick little device, and I think I do still have it. I of course don't think it would get power, and it had a power source that was not common. It was like a proprietary power plug, but that was a slick little device. Actually, it still looks pretty nice, even if you look at it now. Like it looked nice, but I remember figuring out how to burn DVDs to a format that I could use on that device. I was
That's
just
awesome.
like, because I could burn from DVD to AVI,
Yeah.
and then I was like renting movies from the library
Yeah.
and put them on that little handheld.
Yeah.
It was so cool, though.
I've thought about this. You've probably had this thought too, actually. Um, since then, is what we should have done for that time period. It would have been like the right time to do it. Like I don't think that people would have any interest today. Is we should have sold like bootleg movies in high school. You know what I mean? Because like we could have
Yeah,
like got them just the way that you're talking about and ripped them that way, and people would have been like,
yeah,
"Oh, a $5 DVD!" Like people would have actually like bought that. It's the same way that you like resell like candy at Walmart. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It never occurred to me for some reason to do that. Like it would have
yeah,
never occurred to me to sell media. It would have been like, "Oh my god! Like what?
yeah.
Like that's free? What do you
Somebody
mean?"
did that. Somebody did that at work for a while.
That's funny.
It was years ago, but I remember them going around and selling these burned DVDs. This was like 5 or 6 years ago. They were
Yeah.
doing that, and they were
See,
selling them
five
for
or six
like a
years ago,
buck
people
or
were
two.
buying them then. Like in high
Yeah,
school, like back then before like and they had them back then. Used to have to go to like like Chinatown or something.
yeah. I did that what you were describing with the Walmart candy. That was funny too because
It's a good
do you
move.
remember? Yeah, well, no, but it was really extra shady though because I was in what group was it?
Yeah,
Junior something or
yeah.
others,
Don't
Junior
give the specific
Achievers
name.
or
Don't give the specific name.
okay. Well, I don't think it was actually called Junior Achievers, so we'll just call it Junior Achievers to
Okay.
fill in the blank. Um, and I just remember like as part of a uh like a money earning like uh you know uh oh my god, I just got so screwed up that I dropped that op. Man, I should have had that shot. Oh, that killed me. Anyway,
But yeah, they
I
sold candy too, right?
they sold candy.
So
They
it's
sold
like,
candy to earn. I emptied that box, sold all that, and then I just kept refilling it with just Dollar Tree candy. It was like, yeah,
jeez.
this is for junior achievers. Like, made a crap load of money too. Oh, high school days.
Yeah. That's a good move doing something like that in high school, like selling candy or selling something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know what you would sell today. NFTs maybe? You could probably do
yeah,
that. If you think about it, I don't maybe people wouldn't buy that. But just as like a stupid thing, selling NFTs for $1.
yeah.
No, there's probably something even better, really. Oh, jeez. Honestly, even just candy still, probably it.
Hard to know though what it looks like. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm pretty far removed from high school anymore.
Dude, I think about that
Like,
sometimes. I think about that with high school and I
it,
think about that with college, too.
it was just a really different mediascape.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Different a
like
lot of
even just
things.
my dude, even just my own son, like who's 10. Like some of the lingo that he already knows just from Jesus, that was messy. Just from like playing like Roblox
Mm-hmm.
or um,
These dang
that
Zoomers.
was yeah,
They got their whole
that was
their
really
own language.
for real, man.
Another tie here.
Oh no, no.
Oh no. Oh hell yes.
Oh,
What a save.
whoo, whoo. I was like, my time has come. That would have been a nice shot from him too in the game right at the 0 second. Oh my god. Oh man, it's been a real struggle. Nice Roadhouse. Roadhouse.
Hmm. Oh boy.
All right, I think that might be it for me.
Yeah, me too, man. Those are fun though.
Yep.
Well, all right. I guess that concludes the episode here. We did have one viewer here for
Oh,
a
nice.
good part of the episode, so thank you for watching. I'll catch you later, man.
I will talk to you later.